Hi, I'm Adam McCune, the coordinator for Goffstown Television. First, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to our awesome community. Everything that we've done has been so supported since all of this began with COVID, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for being so awesome. Also, we're making this video. The reason we're doing this is because we kind of want to show what we've been up to since March and what's been going on in the background with all of the things that we've been doing since COVID-19 really struck our community, our state, our nation, and the world. I think sometimes it's really easy to get caught up in what's going on and really not take a moment to pause and to quantify what's happening. I'm super proud of what we've done with Goffstown Television with such a small staff. For those that don't know, GTV is a town department. There's 4 employees. I'm the only full-time employee. We have our studio technician, David Steffen, and then our meeting tapers, the main one being Daryl Halen, and then our backup is Broden McCune, who is a high school student at GHS. So if we want to better understand what we've been up to, let's take a little trip back to March 15th.
And with me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
That was the day we set up a live stream for our first combined emergency SAU 19 board meeting. This is a nervous time for all of us, and the meeting was essentially the kickoff to COVID for most people in our community. The governor's emergency executive orders would come in and change the way we live and operate as a community and as a nation. And it was right after this meeting that I developed symptoms myself. Now, I have since had the test. In fact, I had it right away, and I had a negative result. So that was some good news. But in the 3 weeks that happened after that, I was actually under quarantine on doctor's orders. So it was a little more difficult to accomplish things that we wanted to at GTV. The town was holding an emergency operations meeting and I couldn't attend. And I want to say a big thank you to our studio technician, David Steffen. He has been awesome during all of this, and he performed admirably to try and kind of bridge that gap in my absence. In that first week after, temporary rules were put into place to change the way town meetings were run and how they could be broadcast. Like everyone in our field, in the state and the country, we scrambled to make a sensible workflow. Our town IT department set up a call-in line to ensure the right to speak during public comment could continue. And we got to work creating a decentralized workflow for meetings. Being under quarantine meant I had no way of accessing our studio, our control room, town hall, or any of our gear. But what I did have was a laptop and a monitor. After some trial and error, we developed a workflow that meant we didn't have to have a meeting space to have a meeting. We shared in conference with our colleagues from around the country, some of whom followed our workflow. Then, on March 25th, 10 days after that emergency SAU meeting, we held our first virtual select board meeting.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the March 25th, 2020 special meeting of the Goffstown Select Board.
I'm not going to say it was perfect, or any of the virtual meetings were perfect, but we did make it work and they did get better over time, and they did kind of open our eyes to some potential changes that could happen for the broadcasting of meetings. The one important thing, though, it did continue one of our main goals at Goffstown Television, which is transparency in our local government.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America.
In total, we covered 26 virtual meetings, more than 45 hours worth, and almost all of those were from my kitchen table, my basement, and here in my son's converted bedroom, now an office. In this time, we also helped our friends in New Boston and covered their school board meetings. It's a relationship I hope we can continue to grow. In addition, our typical meeting taper, Daryl Halen, was busy as he was doing the blended and in-person meetings that we have that met at Town Hall. During this pandemic, we haven't forgotten the need to be entertained. Now, typically, during the school year, we do about 100 sporting events. That wasn't going to happen. So we shifted gears a little bit and started to work on some other projects. My son Broden is a junior at Goffstown High School. He's also a part-time employee for GTV. Seeing the missed opportunity our girls basketball team would have at a state title game, he went to work creating a virtual game. Rosters from each team were plugged into his Xbox and NBA 2K and simulated. He even created a video conference with Caleb Brown so that they could do play-by-play. And while Goffstown didn't win, it was a memorable night, and the finish was amazing.
She's only got a minute to score 5 points, and a dunk from Emily Doherty! That is...
Doherty with a dunk?
That is the magic of 2K working right there. I don't know how that one happened.
David Steffen helped Parks and Rec create a virtual awards show for the kids who participated in their amazing basketball program. It was a memorable video, and it's the kind of thing I think the kids will look back on and likely share again years from now, when this terrible time will be a memory and our thoughts are going to be much stronger. Meanwhile, being quarantined, I actually started a short-run program called Thanks for Being Awesome to highlight the amazing things coming out of our community during this crisis. We had people banding together, but not in person, to support one another. We helped the school create weekly updates on what was going on with the challenges of remote learning. These videos, which accumulated more than 50,000 views, were an important part of the communication plan for the school district. We continued to inform and entertain when we broadcast the 1974 Boys State Basketball Championship.
Hello again, everybody. Pablo Bell with Dick Powers, Paul Toland, our statisticians, for tonight's Class I championship game between Goffstown and Hanover.
The audio and pictures were donated to us by Jim Boschman and put together and broadcast to another wide audience, giving people another means to reminisce. David Steffen helped the fire department with the 2020 Goffstown Firefighters Olympics video, and we rebroadcast a few of those spring games from last year's coverage of high school stuff for Goffstown via Facebook and YouTube, just so some of those people could get their fix for high school sports. It was about this time that the focus started to shift on the end of the school year. When it became clear that the typical end of the school year was just not going to happen, the district sought ways to honor the seniors while still keeping some traditions. Athletic Director Justin Huft reached out to partner with GTV on creating a series of virtual awards shows in lieu of typical in-person nights that we've come to expect over the years. The school got to work on gathering details, and we got to work making them into videos. This partnership was on display for 3 straight Fridays. The class of 2020 may not have had a typical end to their high school careers, but I feel it became part of something bigger.
Hello, Goffstown High School, class of 2020. Surprise!
David put together a memorable virtual baccalaureate service, and we also got to work on the culmination of all of these efforts, the commencement of the class of 2020, a monumental task that was completed with just 3 weeks of planning by the school district. In person and live from Northeast Delta Dental Stadium, the home of the Fisher Cats. There is nothing normal or typical about what happened or what we continue to go through, but the challenges of this pandemic have been met with a fantastic response from our town and our school. Our first responders, our teachers, our administrators, and our boards all deserve a huge thank you for what they've done for us. Goffstown TV is here to kind of illustrate what's happening, to show what they're up to show what we're up to. Our goal is to inform and to show a clear pathway through government transparency. In the coming weeks, we'll continue to produce videos with events in town, like our recent video on the 8th grade graduation, PSAs about how we're all facing these challenges, and more. We are working on a reopening plan, but it has to take a lot of things into consideration, including one, very big one, that we are in a very public building in Goffstown High School. I want to thank you for watching and for cheering us on. It really means a lot to have the support of such a wonderful community. I want you all to take care and be safe.